YouTube, what is going on? It's your boy Jordan JC back again on the Chicago Bears Breeze. And today we have a good topic because obviously, after the last 3 weeks, we've seen this team continue to regress to the point that we're starting to use words that we never thought that we would use when we looked at the team at the beginning of the season. Words like broken, words like accountability, words like fired, which, by the way, at this point, nobody has gotten fired. Words like laughable. This organization is starting to look like a clown show. And that's what we're here to talk about is after the 19-3 loss to the New England Patriots, the lowly New England Patriots, the Chicago Bears are now looking for more answers. And yet they have more problems than answers. And so the question now today is why has anybody gotten fired yet? Why has no one gotten fired yet? That is the question on the table for today because right now, Matt Eberflus has retained his job still. Shane Waldron is still now the OC. And I mean, we can talk about Ryan Poles and technically some of the things that he's missed on as far as evaluating how this team should have been built from the trenches outward rather than the outward into the trenches, because we see the result of that with this offensive line being atrocious. But the pinpoint is obviously Shane Waldron and Matt Eberflus. After these past 3 weeks of mediocrity, of failure, of incompetence, we still have the same head coach and the same offensive coordinator. And I'm sure the organization's excuse is, again, the same thing as always. This is not how we do business until the end of the season. We have to evaluate everything, which is the same excuse Matt Eberflus used today. You heard him in this press conference talk about, what are you all going to do to change? And I love the questions, the very pinpoint, direct questions that a lot of the media asked today. Because you can't skate around these problems. You shouldn't be able to skate around these answers and give coach speak for the next 3 weeks. There needs to be some accountability directly from the head coach. And someone asked, "Hey, do you feel like you can do anything outside of when you clearly could be terminated that you think you should change? Or are you going to keep this same thing going? Are you going to keep this same clown show going when you see that it's off rail, it's off the tracks? Or are you going to go down with this ship the way that it looks? Does there need to be changes made?" Obviously, in my opinion, there clearly needs to be changes made. And it starts with Shane Waldron. I think he's been found out to be over his head, in over his head. There's reports now, and I read an article that talked about the fact that Shane Waldron probably was masked, maybe a little bit hidden as far as, his actual ability to play calls, because you had somebody like Pete Carroll, a legendary head coach on multiple levels, Super Bowl winning head coach, college winning head coach, that probably masked some of the deficiencies in the play calling and the schemes, and also the respect level in the locker room, perhaps in Seattle. We always talked about, well, maybe Shane Waldron was one of the reasons why, Geno Smith continued to revive his career. But factoring in the fact that the Seattle Seahawks are doing just fine right now without Shane Waldron, factoring in the fact that you have rookie wide receivers like Jackson Smith and Jigba saying, good luck. That's an issue. And so now the limelight, the spotlight is on Shane Waldron, in my opinion. Why has there been no one fired at this point? And that's ultimately the problem with this organization. On the Daily Live Show, if you caught it on the Windy City Breeze, by the way, go check that out. Subscribe to the channel. We completely, we dissected painstakingly what is the reason? What direction do they need to go? Should they fire Matt Eberflus? Should they fire Shane Waldron? Is this causing Caleb Williams to regress? And I say yes to all those answers. Should they fire Shane Waldron? Yes, they should fire Shane Waldron immediately, in my opinion, just for the sake of salvaging their quarterback that they're trying to develop. You can clearly see over the last 3 weeks against more times than not better competition, better defenses in Arizona, and also when you're going up against Washington, you've seen that Caleb has continued to just be mentally just checked out when it comes to pinpoint accuracy, when it comes to the deep ball throws, things that were strengths coming out of college, clearly are now weaknesses. You've caused a quarterback that had all of these things going for him. All the analytics saying that, hey, this guy is generational, great arm talent, great pocket awareness, great accuracy, deep ball is great, can pick you apart in multiple ways, can get out of trouble because of his ability to maneuver in the pocket and be elusive against many defensive lines. Like, these are things that you saw on his scouting report. That's what we thought we were getting. And Ryan Poles got cute and addressed every single thing on this team except the most important thing, because he thought he probably could get away with it for a year. We got Caleb Williams. He'll mask over all of these issues, and then I'll address it in the next year. Now we're doing the exact same thing that we've done to previous quarterbacks here. We're doing the exact same thing that we did to Justin Fields. We're doing the exact same thing that we did to Mitchell Trubisky. A quarterback cannot thrive without protection. And it's not to say that he's always holding on to the ball too long, because, of course, yes, that can be the excuse for some of his sacks. But Caleb Williams is many occasions, especially early in the season, getting the ball out quick, under 3 seconds. That should show you how atrocious this line is. And we talked about a specific word that you absolutely need when it comes to this offense looking like a competent offense, and that's marriage. These plays should be married to each other when you're calling up these schemes and these different play calls from first to second to third down. And time again, Shane Waldron is calling plays that do not connect to the next play and the next play and the next play after that. So when you have really good field position, like the Bears did this past game, 4 times, I believe, almost cut the field in half, starting at the 48-yard line, the 48, the 45. You've cut half the field out to get to at least field goal range. And in those 4 instances, those 4 times you had the ball, you came out with the goose egg. That is incompetence of epic proportions. And again, the beat goes on in the first quarter. No points scored. The beat goes on, period. No touchdowns thrown in the last 3 games. And now the defense is starting to show, hey, we're not playing as hard as we probably could be. There's many times where there's loose space in the defense, where the offense is, the opposing team is taking advantage of those open spaces. Drake May is looking like a competent quarterback. The New England Patriots, by all accounts, are one of the worst teams in the league statistically, only averaging 15.7 points. Technically, the defense did their job. You gave up 19 points, and yet the offense could only come up with a field goal against the worst team in the league. So now what does that make you? Makes you one of the worst teams in the league. So now this season went too promising, too depressing, too broken. And we can blame the OC, we can blame the head coach, and of course, like I said, I want somebody gone. Should have been gone already. But I'm looking overall at the organization, period, from top to bottom. And I'm looking at the top. I'm looking at George McCaskey. I'm looking at his record. Never having a playoff win in his tenure here. I'm looking at the lack of accountability. I'm looking at the people that they're hiring to head this team. I'm seeing a lot of yes men. I'm seeing a lot of people that they're overlooking or they're not bringing in the building because maybe they have too much of a voice. Maybe they have too much sway. Because you know for sure that Bill Belichick wouldn't allow this. There are many coaches that have been passed up in this organization for people who are a little bit more respectful and humble and goes with the process of things here. As I said before, mom and pop organization, you should not be honored or feel happy that you didn't or haven't fired anybody in the whole organization in the amount of time that this organization has been around. That's not a badge of honor. That's not something that you can put in the rafters. We don't fire people here. We're loyal to the process. We're loyal to the evaluation of the leaders here. When you have someone who has the worst record in your organization still here, in Matt Eberflus, which you retained, by the way, Ryan Poles, and you're saying that he still has a chance to keep his job based off of the evaluation of this season? Now you're going into this week against your hated rivals. You're going into the latter part of the season where you're now going up against some of the toughest competition, not only in your division, but in the league, against a Seattle, against the 49ers that are getting healthy now. Do you envision another win with this team? We talked about maybe them beating the Vikings. I don't even see that. This team could have possibly won its last game a while ago. The Jaguars might have been the last win of this season. And you're standing on business by saying, you know what? We got everybody in the building that we need. Matt Eberflus is saying, you know what? We'll just evaluate everything. Everything's on the table. And yet we have no report of anybody being let go yet. That is coaching incompetence. That is organizational incompetence. And it's going to start making your quarterback be incompetent. It's going to start making your franchise quarterback become more mentally jarred, more unsure of himself. When you see plays like the slant to DJ Moore where he clearly was just inaccurate with his throws, like many of his normal throws, where we knew that he's an anticipatory quarterback. He can get the ball there before the route is finished. You saw him hesitate. Get the ball out. No, I'm going to hold on to it. Something is starting to mess with Caleb's head. We've seen that before. Justin Fields talked about it when he was here. I think there's just too much going on. I'm being told too much in my head. I need to play freer, and that's what I'm going to do. He told you in so many words it's the coaching. And now we're running that tape back. It's the coaching. Caleb every week holds himself accountable. Always says it starts with me. It starts with me. It starts with me. You love to see that. But quite frankly, it starts with the leadership over the quarterback. It starts with the head coach. It starts with play calling better. It starts with the players in the locker room respecting the voice of the play caller. Do you have the respect of your players, your veterans, the leaders of this team when you have so many people coming out constantly giving little indications that the respect level isn't there? And when you hear Shane Waldron talk, does he sound like someone that you have respect for? The players know what is going on. If we can see it, I'm pretty sure they can see it. And there's a rant, and I love this guy's rants on Good Morning Football. Cal Brand, a fan of the Bears, obviously, but I mean, he talked about this. It's almost like going through the stages of grief, and it started with the Washington game. The Hail Mary almost just took the sails out of our out of our wind, or the wind out of our sails. I can't even say it right. That Hail Mary throw, that was like denial. That's the first stage. Well, you know what? We're still 4-3. Okay, that was a heartbreaker. We almost had it. We shouldn't have been in a position to win this game. We were terrible all the way through, but yet we had a chance to win and we lose off that. Man, that sucks, but let's move forward. Your coach should have gotten you ready for the Arizona game. And then throughout the week, you hear Caleb say that, yeah, guys were kind of, that game kind of stung and people were lingering over that. We weren't mentally prepared going into the next game. We weren't focused on the game plan for Arizona. Then Arizona is that stage of anger because now you got James Conner running all over you to the tune of 200 plus rushing yards for that team total, along with Trey Sermon and DeMarcado. So now everybody's looking like, well, what's going on? This team, we were supposed to be, this is supposed to be the easier part of the schedule, the softer part of the schedule, right? Wrong. Because now teams know how to defeat you. Bad run defense, attack the quarterback with more people than they can block. Rush in, blitz all day, blitz all night, blitz. So now you go into this week absolutely needing a win to try and salvage this season before you get into the division games against a team where we even said, hey, this is a get-right game. New England Patriots are a get-right game. They're terrible on offense statistically. They're terrible on defense statistically. You didn't get right. You got exposed. You got wrong. You got killed. There was nothing that was learned or worked on or developed during this game. You regressed. Caleb regressed. The defense regressed. It looked like it quit. The only good thing about this game is Tory Taylor kept kicking the ball pretty well, outside of a few. That's about the only thing you can hold your hat on. And that's bad. We shouldn't be seeing our punter out there as many times. This team is broken. And that's where the acceptance level or stage of grief comes in. Because now Bears fans are saying, you know what? Should have known. This is the same old Bears year after year after year because we keep doing the same thing. We keep playing this thing backwards. We keep trying to fix this issue backwards. You address the trenches on both sides of the ball, then you work your way outward. Ryan Poles did an excellent job, and we were all excited, myself included, that they got all of these wonderful receivers to complement DJ Moore. You got DeAndre Swift in the building. You got Cole Kmet that's continuing to grow as a all-around complete tight end. Then you bring in Gerald Everett, who's a really good backup tight end. You got all of these offensive weapons. Then you get the Heisman Trophy winner from 2 years ago who can do it all. But you forgot one thing. You forgot the big guys up front. You forgot the guys that say, hey, let's give our quarterback some time to go through his progressions. You forgot the guys up front that say, hey, let's not get our quarterback killed. You forgot to address that in the draft. So when even, hey, Pat talks about jokingly or not jokingly about spending a 4th-round pick on Tory Taylor, as much as I like Tory Taylor and I like how legendary he is as a kicker, as a punter, I have to agree. Should have went a different route. I'm sure somebody was there that you could have used to pick for the offensive line, which is now reason for targeting Ryan Poles. You got cute. You thought this team was pretty much almost complete and that they were ready to compete. You've said plenty of times, our goal is to take back the North and never give it back. You are far from taking the North. You might never get it. Detroit is on another level. Green Bay, their head coach is always going to make sure that they're at least competitive. And then now Minnesota, decent defense. Sam Darnold revived behind a decent line with weapons around him and one of the best receivers in the game. You got more of an uphill climb than you think, Ryan Poles. And so again, this is a joke. And quite frankly, I think the joke's on us because year after year, we keep believing that they've gotten it right. We keep believing that, oh man, this quarterback is going to come in and do his thing, regardless of the weaknesses around our team. They had me sold too. this offseason. When I heard Keenan Allen for a 4th-round pick, I thought, oh, man, highway robbery. When I thought, oh, Rome Odunze for the 9th overall pick, oh, highway robbery. Caleb Williams, generational. DeAndre Swift, he was killing over there in Philadelphia. Had an offensive line. Cole Kmet, he's getting better and better. Gerald Everett, I think he actually is better than he probably is showing. He's underutilized over there in LA. Bring him on. Oh, we got a squad. And yet you didn't address the most important thing. And so all I can hope going forward is that, number one, Caleb doesn't continue to regress where we're seeing him not develop into the quarterback that we know he could be and should be by all accounts. And then now he's regressed and we're wasting and ruining another quarterback. Because quite frankly, the season is lost. And so there has to be changes made. The culture, as I've mentioned plenty of times, has to change. The accountability from top to bottom has to change. The McCaskies have to stop running this like some loyal mom and pop shop. Burn it down. Do what you got to do now. Don't wait. Address the issues now. Act like a big boy organization. Act like one of the charter franchises in this sport. Or get out of the way. And maybe that's what it's going to have to take for this Bears organization, for this Bears team to finally put a winner on the field year after year after year after year. Otherwise, we're going to continue to be talking about this until I'm 80 years old. So again, guys, I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. Obviously, want to see how you all are feeling. What level of grief and stage are you in your emotions right now as a Bears fan? How do you all feel about what's going on? How do you all feel about the excuses and what Matt Eberflus had to say today as far as evaluating everything and everything's on the table? Do you think they will make drastic changes? Do you think they will actually demote or get rid of Shane Waldron soon? There's been no reports yet. What do you think Ryan Poles is going to do? What do you think Kevin Warren is thinking right now? How do you feel overall as a Bears fan? Are you giving up? Or is this just status quo? But obviously, as always, I will be down there with you in the comment section, especially this time because I know how you guys feel. We're in this together. Got to try to continue to keep our heads up as always, right? Try to stay positive in the negative. But I know you guys are going to be giving a lot of thought to this, so I'll be down there with you to share those thoughts. And as always, if you like this video, show some class. Comment, like, and subscribe. Share this video with others. See you guys on the next Bears Breeze.